As project managers, we face volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous situations on a daily and weekly basis. The term VUCA, which summarises those words, was coined by the military in 1987, and it's still as relevant today as it was then. The term VUCA, as I mentioned at the start, was coined in 1987. It's really relevant for us right now as project managers and also the wider industry to think about the volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous times that we live within. Today we're going to dive in to some tools and approaches that you can use to help you and your teams respond to the volatility, the uncertainty, the complexity and the ambiguity. In this VUCA world that we live in, organisations and leaders have had to move away from the traditional command and control structures to one of shared accountability. And I just want to dwell on that word accountability. It can be a bit of a dirty word. Everybody's a bit nervous. Who's accountable for fixing that problem? Who's accountable for making that decision? It can lead to the fight or flight response triggering in somebody. They shut down. They don't want to open and engage. I think in truth, accountability shouldn't be a scary and bad word. What it means, certainly for me, is it means showing up, turning up, putting your best foot forward and setting out to achieve the goals that you've already agreed you're going to do. It means thinking about the bigger picture when you're trying to achieve those goals rather than your small part within it. And with that, it's about taking personal responsibility for your work. Let's bring this to life. I'm going to use a really simple, clear metaphor. As a cleaner, I might have responsibilities to hoover up a meeting room every day, tidy up the chairs, wipe down the tables. They're the things that I'm responsible for. And traditional structures would say, if I tidy up the chairs, hoover the room and clean down those tables every day, I'm going to receive great feedback and I'll do a great job. So one day, I go into work, I wipe down the tables, I tidy up the chairs in the meeting room, I plug in the hoover, ready to go, and boom, the fuse trips and I can't complete my task. Am I responsible for changing the fuse? I'm probably not. So I have a couple of options. I can report it to a maintenance technician, I can escalate it to my manager, I can report it wherever it's appropriate to make sure the fuse is changed, and I can be taking proactive steps. That's what accountability looks like. My responsibilities and my job, doing my job. Taking accountability is thinking about the bigger picture of getting the job done. And as a project manager, it's really important that we create a culture of accountability with our teams and our wider organisation to help us achieve the goals that ultimately we're all paid to achieve. In summary, responsibilities are our responsibility to act. Accountability is our obligation to answer for the action. So why is accountability important as we're talking about VUCA? I think for me, I really strongly believe that we are all leaders, irrelevant of role, job title, within an organisation in our 21st century distributed leadership models. And accountability is a key behaviour which underpins our leadership. And within that, I firmly believe that we have a shared accountability to support each other in a workplace, outside of a workplace, whether that's helping with a task or helping a colleague who's having a difficult time. As a shared leadership model, all of us need to pull together to be accountable to help each other. Coming back to the VUCA framework and thinking about the accountability, let's think about the steps that we can take ourselves to help our projects and our wider teams move through volatility, uncertainty, complexity and ambiguity. When it comes to volatility, you should try to combat that with vision. We can use vision up and down the organisation, at team level, at squad level, at organisation and department level. That vision, what we're doing, what we're going after, what's the project trying to achieve, allows us to work through the volatility with a clear vision and focus. At a squad level, that could show up as a sprint goal or a team objective. an OKR or a KPI. Maybe it could show up as a team contract. Maybe some team bonding. When it comes to uncertainty, the U of VUCA, you should try to combat that with understanding and being understanding. As a group, as a team, thinking about retrospectives, lessons learned exercises, understanding when things went wrong, how can you support each other? Remember that shared leadership model to help make them go right. How can you build continuous improvement initiatives? Again, within this space, team bonding, people, growth and support, communities of practice, pulling people together to build support networks of shared interests and shared understanding around common issues and trying to solve those issues. When it comes to complexity, you should try to combat complexity with clarity and communication. As a group, great facilitated conversations focused around a goal or an outcome of a meeting. As a team, working together to solve problems, working as a group to solve problems is great not only from a mental well-being perspective, but helping break down the complexity. Taking the step back, using things like the work breakdown structure or product-based planning to make tasks and problems simple together. As the project manager, you can lead your team through that. Remember the accountability piece. On an individual level, being accountable to reach out for help if you're struggling, whether you're a project manager or any other role. How can I get some help because I'm struggling with this thing? Helps break down the complexity. When it comes to ambiguity, you should try to combat that with agility. This shows up as a group, maybe sharing knowledge, sharing best practice, showing each other, doing demos, show and tells, lunch and learns, great opportunities to show and share knowledge. As a team, you could think about sharing an experience or views of a situation or just wider experience. I ran into this issue, I talked about this, and having the agility within the team to recognise different patterns, different opportunities to explore different ways to approach a situation of ambiguity allows shared clarity. On an individual level, you should think about how can you talk to your peers and your leaders really often. How can I stay in touch? How can I drive forward? How can I make sure I've got the support network? How can I break down any ambiguity that I'm seeing within my role and my wider team and the wider piece of work that we're working on by talking and talking and talking? These are all really important things that you can try. In summary, using the combat techniques for VUCA will help you navigate volatility, uncertainty, complexity and ambiguity, and they'll help you build great, strong, long-lasting teams and great relationships where you've got shared accountability in our 21st century leadership model, ultimately driving forwards the projects, the outcomes of the business much more effectively. So, thinking about your world, I'd love it if you drop me a comment and let me know about any VUCA situations that you face, any tools and techniques that you employ to help you and your teams. Let's continue to learn from each other. I'd love it. I'm Dave. Thanks for watching Project Management 101. It's great to see you. Please make sure you like and subscribe for more practical advice in project, program and delivery management. From chaos to clarity. Take care.